as you see, there are two of us and not three, so we are still continuing to practice social distancing. Our Indigenous Knowledge Keeper, Cheryl, is unable to attend with us today. She had a dental emergency. However, in lieu of her traditional teachings and her shared wisdom, she did want us to share a couple of tips with you. So one of them is to make sure you chew when you eat. And the second one is to make sure that you've got a dentist that you can put on speed dial for when this type of thing arises.
My teeth hurt even thinking about it.
I know, poor Cheryl.
She cracked her tooth, and yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, so unfortunately she's not here to join us, but she will be here next week. So that just means that John and I will entertain you for the next 20 minutes on our own. Usually we like to invite a young person, a youth ambassador, to co-host with us. Hopefully we'll have one for you next week. For those of you that are just joining us, my name is Kathy Cook. I'm one of the youth engagement coordinators, and again, thank you so much for joining us. Today is Friday, August the 21st, and we are on episode 22 already. Yes, so I'll let John take over and do a little introduction of his own, and hopefully we can keep you entertained for 20 minutes.
We'll try. My name is John, Youth Engagement Coordinator here with Kathy at the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth. And we don't have Cheryl here today, so I'd like to start out by the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth. Wish to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homeland of the Métis Nation. So you had to do it.
You did it very well.
Exactly the way that Cheryl did it.
She'll be very proud. The beautiful homeland.
So I'd just like to mention, again, as always, there's resources and links that you might find in our video description, so please check those out. As well, if you leave your name or a comment, if you have any questions, anything at all, just leave it in the comment section and we will do our best to get back to you when we can. And who knows, if you leave your contact information, we could possibly pick you to win some of our MACY swag. As always, we got the pen, which I've successfully kept from Kathy the last couple of weeks.
I'm amazed. He's had that pen for probably 2 months now.
Probably, yeah. I thought I lost it today, but then I realized I had probably hidden it on Kathy, and I actually forgot where I put it. So this is normally where we talk to Cheryl.
This is normally where we would talk to Cheryl, but we will talk a little bit about what we did this week by way of our kind of traditional teachings, our cultural component. I should actually mention, and I forgot in my first introduction today, we'll be talking about article number 5, which is your family is responsible for teaching you about your rights and helping you to protect them. So we'll talk about that a little bit further in the episode, but we'll take over Cheryl's piece and just talk a little bit about what we did this week. We have some really funny stories to share. So last week we traveled out to do some medicine picking. I think we had talked about it on the Friday. We went out and got some sage. Yesterday, John and myself and Cheryl decided we were going to go out and look for some more sage and possibly some sweetgrass. Yeah. So we did that. It was a beautiful morning, extremely warm, but
secret spot too.
Secret spot. We can't tell you. Well, we hope Cheryl will tell you one day. Maybe she will, but yeah. So our little secret spot. I will tell you that it's in a ditch. So if you are ever driving and you see a couple people in the ditch, it's John and myself.
Yeah.
So yesterday was pretty neat, though. We had a spot on the side of the road. We had traveled there. John and I went together. Cheryl came up a little bit later with her car, and while I was in the ditch picking medicine, a car pulled up, and they asked if I was looking for sweetgrass or if I had any. I told them no, I had some sage, but if they were to travel a little bit up the road, Cheryl might have some. So it was really, when you look at it, it was a very, very decolonizing interaction for, I think, all of us. So these two beautiful women that stopped looking for sweetgrass, I had, again, picked enough sage, so I gave them a bundle, and off they drove to see Cheryl. But they stopped on their way to drive up the road, came out and ran me over a bottle of water and said thank you for the barter. Off they went up the road to Cheryl, and sure enough, as she always does, she had a trunk full of everything you might need. So she found some sweetgrass and was able to trade her sweetgrass for 4 ears of corn, a pear, a scarf and a Ziploc bag full of the most beautiful, juicy blueberries ever. So I just wanted to share that even in that hour we sat on the side of the ditch, we had two people pull over and have conversations with us about the medicines, about what we were doing. We had, the two beautiful women that bartered for those things. So when we look at, our responsibility, or your family being responsible for teaching you about your rights and helping you to protect them, I thought of actually that exchange that we had, and I thought of what a family looks like and what does a greater family look like. So many of us haven't had the opportunity to grow up in, a two-parent home or a one-parent home even. Maybe we've been involved in the system and been placed in homes that aren't with our biological family. So we're looking at the right to your family being responsible for teaching you. It means your family, and that doesn't always mean your biological family. It means that the people around you, the responsible adults around you, cousins, aunties, uncles, grannies, grandpas, children, our family is part of our community. So I think that for John and I, that really speaks to today's right, because essentially we have that responsibility to teach you about your rights and to make sure we're supporting to protect those rights.
And while we were picking and while I was picking and they were
bartering,
there's things that Cheryl had taught me that that I made sure to keep doing. So when I'm picking the sage, I'm taking every time I took some of the sage, I would take some of the little pods and seeds and throw them back, right? So that I know that not only are we not picking the roots out, as Cheryl says, but it's also you're helping to provide again. So you're planting those little bit of seeds. Who knows? They might turn into a sage and plant later. So you're helping to renew, so that I know that we can always go back to our secret spot.
Yes.
And there is lots of sweet grass, so I know we will be going back there again, and hopefully take some of our youth there as well next time, because this time we weren't able to have any of our youth. Time before that we did. So I think we like to be accompanied by our youth when we do these things. And I'm always careful when we're taking this from the land to give back and to not take too much as well, right? And that's something that I've been fortunate to learn over the years, and from Cheryl's guidance as well, that you take as much as you need, and it's not about stockpiling a bunch of medicines, right? You want to make sure there's enough for everybody. So.
And it's interesting because, John and I were picking in different spots, but, we really do kind of work from that kind way, right? Being kind to the earth. So as John is talking about, sprinkling the seeds over, I was thinking while I sat there as I picked, and I filled an entire bag and then another one. But when I went to put the other bag in, I thought, do I need more medicine? What do I need? And I sat back down in that ditch, and I almost felt like it had regrown in the time I went to the car. I looked around me and thought, well, there's just so much medicine here. So felt okay about taking that second bag. But it's interesting when you're doing the land-based things like the medicine picking, or just even spending time in nature with our young people. I find that there just seems to be such an overabundance of whatever it is we're going out to look for, and it's almost like Creator is making sure we have what we need. And the water was the perfect example, because as I sat there picking the sage, and prior to giving the bundle away, I remember thinking, oh, I'm so thirsty, and I have a coffee in the car, so I'll go have a sip of that. But when those women handed me this ginormous jug of water, ice water, it had a huge thing, I thought, oh, I'm exactly where I need to be. And I know I needed something, and it was given to me in the exchange with that sweetgrass. So yeah, again, that's just one of the things that we want to make sure is that we're providing everybody access to opportunity to do things like that. So I'll plug our youth ambassador team with that. So these are things that we enjoy doing with our young people. So going out and being on the land, picking the medicine, and having those conversations while you're sitting in a ditch. Really, I don't know how, but there's so much more meaningful, I find.
Especially right now, when you feel like you're trapped in some spaces, and everyone has that anxiety, and I mean, it's normal for youth and adults to have this anxiety about what's going on in the world right now. But when you can get out to nature, and you're out there, and you're in, as we know, in the social setting, we want to be outside if we can, because there's less chance for transmissions and stuff. So when you're out there, it's almost like that worry kind of goes away a bit. So if I can recommend that to our youth that are watching, and any adults out there, just that simple thing of getting out there for even just that half hour, you're able to let go a bit of that anxiety you might be having when you're in buildings and in closed spaces with people, because you don't have that, right? And you're able to be outside and talk and communicate and just be in nature. I think it just, even that alone is that medicine itself. So
yeah, absolutely. So I guess back to our family being responsible for teaching you about your rights and helping you protect them. Again, we have to look at family in a broader spectrum of families. So to me, I've got my family, my intact family that I live with every day. But I also have a huge family around me, and that includes Cheryl and John and the wonderful people in my office. So essentially, this right really speaks to me about the greater family, about our responsibility to one another, making sure that we're protecting and respecting our children, respecting all the rights of our young people, and teaching them that they exist. So again, John always talks about the links and in the comments section. So here again is just another copy of the 42 Rights of Young People. It would be nothing for us to throw it in the mail, to drop it off in your mailbox, because we really want to make sure you know what your rights are. And so when I was looking at this particular right, I really went through the list of 42, and a lot of them really connect to one another. But right number 3 states, adults should make good decisions for you, especially for your protection and safety. That really meets the whole idea of the responsibility we have to protect your rights and to make sure that you know what they are. Number 18, the care of children is a shared responsibility of both parents and government. And the government should help parents by providing services. So you may be living within a family unit that is able to teach you your rights and able to protect those rights, but perhaps you need extra supports as a family, right? Where we all have different situations, even with the COVID pandemic, people that were losing maybe the work that they had. So how are we making sure that as a system we're ensuring and protecting not only the rights of our young people and children, but the rights of their families who are really trying to make it through this pandemic and this crisis intact as a family unit, because poverty should never ever be a reason for children not to live with their families if they're in a safe and healthy environment.
And like when it comes to and I'm thinking, schools are coming back, right? And I know that there's a curriculum and teachers have that curriculum in place, but I really hope, and I'll reach out to educators as well to help educate youth on the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The UNCRC, these 42 rights, it doesn't have to be a big, long conversation. And again, I know educators are very busy as it is, but it's something we've seen and we learned through our listening tour and going and visiting kids in schools and community, that it's almost scary to think how many youth don't know they have these rights. They don't even know what these rights are. So then I would like to put that challenge out there for the coming year, especially for the educators to introduce their youth to what youth rights are, and maybe get them, even if you can only name one. I think that's a plus for any youth out there, because we did go to places where youth had no idea and couldn't even name one of their rights. And I think we need to change that as youth care providers, as a family, and whoever family may be to that youth. Like, we really should go out of our way to be teaching these youth about those rights, because as we've seen, that it's the youth that can really drive that change. Our youth ambassadors are just amazing, and just in the short almost 2 years now that I've been able to get to know them and work with them, I really see how a youth, when given the opportunity to use their voice, can really create change, more so than even myself and other adults. It's the youth that can create that change. So let's empower youth by giving them the knowledge that they're supposed to have about these rights in the UNCRC, because it's our job. It's right there, Article number 5. So. Yeah.
And you know what? I just thought of something while John was talking. He talked about, we got to shout out to the educators and the schools and the divisions for this upcoming fall, because again, there's so much uncertainty around it. So when John says we understand how busy it's going to be, we'll tell you that we are absolutely always open to doing any type of presentation. We can do them on Zoom. Again, with the social isolation, we could come out to the schools. But we are always willing to come out and share, our knowledge on the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child and the work that we do. So while we know how busy you are, let us take, an hour so that you can sit and listen and learn as well. And hopefully that will drive change within the classroom.
You know what, and that's a good point you make, because when we were doing the listening tour, as much as we were doing presentations and focus groups with the youth, we actually had school divisions and classrooms and teachers not just join the presentations to learn and watch. We actually did presentations for
service providers in those communities.
So like that, and I think that's the key. And one of the positives that maybe if we can see one that's come out of this recent situation is we've really figured things out for online, for Zoom, for example. So we're able to adapt and get that information out there to anybody that's wanting it. And I think that's the key to what we're trying to do, is just get the information and let people digest that information, pass it to youth. And no, this pandemic's not going to stop that. we're going to find a way. So
yeah, so I mean, there's an open invitation to any service provider, educator. We invite you to give us a call and see if there's anything we can do for you to ease that the learning around the UNCRC in this busy time.
So I do want to mention now we get to talk about MACY, Express Yourself. So on our website, again, you can go to our manitobaadvocate.ca website to get a lot of information, like resources, like Kathy was saying, the poster for the UNCRC to put up. We can definitely even send it out to you, like she's saying. But on there's also a youth page. And one of the youth pages that I really enjoy putting out there is this Youth Express Yourself. And it's a way for youth to submit, whether it's written work, whether it's, if there's some voice. One of our youth ambassadors is a brilliant rap, hip-hop artist. And so this is a way for youth to use their voice, and we love getting artwork. And
we
things
love
like
it.
that.
Submit anything, and even spoken word. There's so many beautiful words that have come out of, poetry or song or just written work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Art. So we love it. And as John says, every week we wish we could take you for a tour of our office space and kind of not just this fancy studio we have, which you would really laugh if you saw it. But yeah, if you were to see the walls that surround John's office and my office, we're surrounded by beautiful art that has been submitted by young people. So we always appreciate and will accept anything that you're willing to send us.
And I'll do a special little plug to Graffiti Gallery here in Winnipeg as well, and the amazing work that they offer and do. If you are into art and you maybe don't have supplies, or you're not quite sure what you want to do, reach out to them. I know right now they have packages that you can take home, and it's about getting the opportunity to just kind of get your creative juices flowing. So Graffiti Gallery, check their website out or contact them. I'll provide the link, because again, that's another important tool for youth who want to get their words out there, and if they're artists, to get that art out there as well.
So the only other thing I really wanted to just kind of talk about, or just is school is just around the corner. So when I'm looking at our date of the end of August, we've got, I think, 2 weeks before school starts. So part of, I guess, for our youth out there, I just wanted to let you know I'm feeling you. I know that the 2 weeks is going to go by really quick, and I'm curious to know how many people are excited to go back to school. Again, I have my last son is entering high school. He's gonna it's sad. So yeah, he's really, really anxious, and I know that every day he's saying, well, Mom, what's the plan? Unfortunately, the division's been great about sending out emails on protocols and what it's going to look like, but even those, there's no confirmation of anything from our division until August 28th, which school starts a week later. So I just wanted to let you know that we're thinking about you, all of those young people out there that are getting ready to return to school, whether you're excited, whether you're nervous, whether you're pensive, we're thinking about you and are just really hoping that this fall there's some stuff in place that allows us to all, continue to be educated, hopefully in person sometimes. Hopefully there's supports for those of us that have to do remote learning.
So I'm going to share this photo of the week, which happened just today, and I contemplated not sharing it, but then I was like, okay, I will, for two reasons. So
you're going to see it anyway. That's the first reason.
It was a sad day this week when we found out one of our local heroes from the Winnipeg Jets, Dale Howardchuk, passed away from his battle with cancer. And it was, for me, being, when I was a youth, that's one of the heroes I looked up to. So it was very, very sad. And it was one of those moments when somebody like that passed away at the age of 57, to me is young, from battling cancer. I had to go by his memorial. So I decided, I'm going to go by the memorial that they put up at True North Square. And I see a camera person, and I'm like, uh-oh, what's this? And then the person came up from CBC, and I said, did you want to be a part of an interview? So, you know what, I was very honored to do it because of the topic, of his passing, so I did. And then this photo, I guess, was taken, and then it was passed around the office, and I realized, hey, I'm wearing my Got Rights YAAS t-shirt, so I thought it was pretty cool that, I could represent our youth and our YAAS on CBC there doing the interview. So that's two reasons why I wanted to share this picture, I guess, that got passed around the office once it hit CBC. So.
Well, it was just the perfect day to be wearing the perfect shirt. So you may see John in his Got Rights TV t-shirt on TV later this evening. I think that's about all I have for this week. Again, it's a bit of a shorter episode. We are missing our cohort here. Again, I just want to. I know that we are continuously trying to go through this COVID-19, this pandemic, and our numbers are increasing. So as we tell you every week, just make sure that you are staying in the know. I know it's depressing to look at the numbers every day, so I'm not saying that you have to do that, but just be mindful of what you need to do to keep yourself safe. So the social distancing is still really, really important. Wearing a mask if and where possible, and just frequent hand washing. So with that said, I just want to wish you a really great week. We'll see you next Friday, and I'll let John say goodbye, and we'll close you out. And
all I really want to say, like I say every week, is if you're not sure if you need to call our office and speak with one of our amazing advocates, then just call, because you're never going to be turned away. So 1-800-263-7146. Our office here in Winnipeg and our office up in Thompson are both open for people to walk in as well. So you can either call us or walk in. And again, if you're not sure, if you're a youth out there, if you're a youth care provider, if you're not sure if you should be calling, then I'm going to tell you to call. And I think because our advocates do such amazing work day in and day out, and they're never going to turn you away. And if it's something that they can't find the answer for at the moment, they're going to help you find that answer. So you'll never just be turned away left wondering what questions you had and not getting an answer from them. So I just want to make sure to include that as part of my thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week when hopefully Cheryl's back with one of her teachings as well. Yeah.
And maybe it's a good time just to point out, if you're interested in participating with our Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad, call or walk in. We talked a couple episodes ago. John was super excited. We had 2 walk-ins of young people that wanted to participate. So they're coming to our meeting this week. So it looks like we have a few more youth ambassadors. The possibility of some just from this particular live feed from the Instagram. So we really are happy that we maybe are now starting to reach out to some young people that maybe we wouldn't have been able to access prior to kind of our social media campaigns. So if you are interested in participating, again, you can call us, you can walk in. John and I would be more than happy to meet with any young person that's interested in participating.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good week. See you next week.